They're taking us to the Iroquois village. I hope all the other tribes won't be offended.
This is Iroquois territory. That makes them the host nation.
I wonder what kind of a welcome they're going to give a Mohican.
We'll soon find out. Look!
I don't think the official welcoming committee is going to be a problem.
Those aren't Iroquois canoes. They're much faster.
They're Chippewa, a tribe that lives to the north of the Great Lakes.
You are welcome. We greet you, Pocahontas.
Let's hope they're friendly.
Thank you for escorting us. You know, you have the most beautiful canoes I've ever seen.
We are all waiting here, hoping the Iroquois will not attack us. They're a hostile people who can't be trusted.
I am an Iroquois. I know you don't like us, but I have come in peace.
The Great Spirit sent us here. We must all be friends at the Great Gathering.
What's the Mohican doing here? Mohicans are our enemies.
Oh,
No, wait, take it easy. This Mohican warrior is with me.
You know what we do with Mohicans? Usually we cut off their heads.
oh, no!
Stop! Mock! Calm down. Stop and think before you go too far.
Yes. You Mohawks are burning with anger.
So?
Today our hearts must be full of happiness,
Yellow Wolf
joy.
is right. All the tribes in the region have gathered to hear a message of peace. I bring a message from the Great Spirit. We must all put aside our rivalries and learn to live together like brothers.
They all look like chiefs.
That is the Great Council. It is made up of 50 members who represent the 5 nations of the Iroquois.
One's a woman.
She is the wisest of them all. Nothing is done without her consent.
I'm so happy you're here. Oh, good morning, friends. Oh, you're so nice.
Good morning, Pocahontas. I hope you had a good night's sleep.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I didn't mean to scare him away.
Oh, no, you didn't. Don't worry. Do you wish to talk to me?
Yes. We have lots to talk about, my child. Many years ago, when I was about your age, my name was Little Beaver, and I was great friends with your grandmother, Jiva.
Oh, you used to know Granny. I'm so glad. But how did you know I was coming here?
I read it on the clouds. As I grew older, I realized my powers were growing stronger. Today, I belong to the great clan of the shaman, like you. Pocahontas. My old bones crave the sunshine. Come with me, child. We'll talk as we walk. The task that awaits you is not easy. The tribes have gathered to hear your message, but they don't have peace in their hearts.
That's why I've come to talk to them.
We are all waiting anxiously to hear what you and Hoppy Ho have been sent to tell us. The Great Spirit's message of hope. It was the medicine men who convinced the chiefs to bury the hatchet and gather here. But many of the braves are not happy about it.
I'm here to stop them fighting.
Yes, I know. The Iroquois respect my judgment. I'll send messengers to all the tribes when we return to the village.
Oh, look at you, little fox. You've come to say hello. That makes me so happy. Oh, how are you? Good morning to you, too. Oh, what are you saying, little fox? You don't want to hurt the woodpecker, do you? We all have to learn to live in harmony. You're my friends, both of you.
This is a good omen, Pocahontas. If you can create harmony between a woodpecker and a fox, you will certainly be able to keep the peace between the tribes gathered to hear your message.
If I don't, I will have failed my mission. What a magnificent sight! It expresses all the power of Mother Earth.
Has anybody ever told you the legend of these falls?
No, I'd love to hear it.
Many, many years ago, there was an old man who lived alone on the top of a mountain. The mountain was so high, he could see the ocean in the distance. Often clouds swirled around him, giving him and everything around him a silvery sheen. The old man had 5 young, beautiful daughters. Their gowns were made of spray from the falls. Their sandals formed from the foam spraying off the rocks. As they flew around the mountain, their long silver tresses flowed in the wind. One day, the 5 sisters decided to explore the towering cliffs pounded by the great waves.
Let's go play down there.
The youngest sister always yearned for new adventures. Followed by the other 4, she plunged through the air like a falcon, down to the surface of the water. They had such a wonderful time flying in and out of the rocks, gliding across the water. They forgot the passage of time. The sun set, the moon came up, and they played and played until they fell asleep. The next day, when the sun came up, the cliffs were no longer the same. A fast-flowing river lay below them, thundering, foaming over the rocks. The sun caught the flying spray, filling the air with diamond points as the water plunged over the cliffs. The 5 sisters were so entranced, flying up and down the curtain of water, that they've stayed there ever since. When you go to the gathering of the tribes at the falls, you'll see the sun still shines on the spray of the sister's gown. Yes, child, they're still there, playing endlessly in the fall. The closer you get, the easier they are to see.
Yeah, they're all right. I've seen them myself many times.
I can't wait to see it. What about you, Woody? Have you been there?
I'd like to, but it's impossible. Every time I try, I get my wings wet. That's because you're not as smart as a fox. I'll be there to listen to your message, Pocahontas. So will I, no matter how wet I get. See you later, Pocahontas. Then we'll go together.
Goodbye, my friend.
Bye!
Thank you. I never heard such a lovely story.
We're grateful to you for sending messengers to the other tribes, inviting them to gather here in one big camp stretching all the way to the falls.
To the falls.
And we thank you for your hospitality, but now...
We want to go to the falls, so we'll be ready for people to meet us there.
I already thought of that. I have ordered tents to be pitched where the tribes that still have to arrive will raise their totem poles. My old tired legs will take me there at sunset. The gathering is being held on the lands of my people. It's only right that I am on hand to greet and reassure the chiefs of the tribes as they arrive. Ah, there's a tribe pitching its tents already.
What tribe is it? They look like Iroquois.
They are, but unfortunately they don't belong to the League of the Five Nations. They're Huron, a tribe that has never been at peace with its neighbors. Even so, they are still part of the Iroquois people. That falcon's carrying a message. Ooh.
On our journey, I've noticed that many tribes are hostile to you. Is that why you've created the League of the Five Nations?
Hiawatha, the chief who brought the tribes together, was summoned by the Great Spirit a few years ago. He was a Mohawk. His successor was to be a Huron, the Kanawida, but he was voted out by the other tribes, and the Huron have been our enemies from that day on. Hiawatha exhorted us all to maintain the balance between people, animals, and nature, according to the laws of the Great Spirit. He reminded us we are all brothers and that the decline of one will cause the decline of all the others.
Before we reach the falls, can you tell me something about the tribes that make up the Five Nations?
Tonight, around the fire at the great gathering, you will learn everything you want to know.
Good news! The message was for me. That eagle comes from my village. He just told me my parents are camped close by with a delegation from our tribe.
Well, 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 how about that? The Great Mohican can't do without his
At
parents.
least we Mohicans have respect for our elders, which is more than can be said for you.
He's just teasing you, Mom. I'm sure if Yellow Wolf's parents were to show up too, he'd be the first to run and embrace them.
We're all kids
We're
at
brothers, too. Remember our pact on the peace path?
Look at all the people. I've never seen such a crowd. What a surprise.
Yes, it's great, and there are more to come.
Hello?
understand why no one's sitting with us over here. I really want to meet them.
Perhaps because they think you're tired from your journey, but tomorrow you'll meet them. There'll probably be so many, you'll have to fight them off.
Could you tell me more about the League of the Iroquois?
It all began when Hiawatha tried to bring the tribes together for the first time. He's only been dead a few years, but already many legends have sprung up about his achievements. I'll tell you the most popular one. It's told by storytellers around the campfire on long winter nights, and I think it's the closest to the truth. Hiawatha could see far into the future, but according to the legend, he was much more than a mere prophet. At the beginning of time, the world was populated by fearsome giants and man-eating beasts. One day, the desperate cries of people pursued by these monsters awakened the Lord of the Heavens, who took on mortal guise and came down to Earth to help them. The Lord of the Heavens told those he helped, "You are my children. I will make of you a great nation. Your descendants will be more numerous than the leaves on the trees, and you will enjoy great prosperity." And he chose a site for some of them on which to build their village. He gave them the name Mohawk, and he gave them dogs to hunt with. He showed them how to make arrows and lances, how to track animals. He showed them how to feed themselves off the land. He gave them the seeds for corn, tobacco, beans, squash, and grain.
They didn't have to do anything for themselves.
Yes, that's true. He took another group on a long trek through the forest to a fertile valley, where he ordered them to build a village. He gave them the name Oneida and showed them how to weave baskets, how to make weapons. Then the Lord of the Heavens led a third party to the foot of the mountains. He called this group the Onondaga and taught them the same things he taught the others. He showed them how to interpret the eternal laws and gave them the gift of communication with the Great Spirit. Then he set out again with those who remained and brought them to the banks of a lake that sparkled in the sunlight. He called them the Cayuga, and he gave them a special talent for making and using canoes. Now there was only a small group left without a home. The Lord of the Heavens led them to the banks of a lake at the foot of a tall mountain. There they became the powerful Seneca nation. He gave them feet so swift they could run faster than the deer. At that point, the Lord of the Heavens decided to make his home on Earth as an ordinary human being, no longer a celestial god. He chose the name Hiawatha and went to live with the Mohawk, teaching them to live in peace and harmony among themselves. The Mohawk became the greatest of all the tribes, while the other nations created by the Lord of the Heavens also grew larger and more prosperous. Hiawatha never stopped teaching about the importance of love and peace. He traveled all year round, from one nation to another without a rest, often using a magic canoe. He skimmed the water and flew across the sky, as light as a bird in flight. He was able to move about so quickly that he brought his message of peace to every place that people live. Then tragedy struck. The nation's territories were invaded by strangers from far away. Cruel, insensitive people who did not respect the eternal laws, who killed, plundered, and sowed terror, flooding through the land, destroying everything in their path. In desperation, the chiefs turned to Hiawatha for help. He ordered the tribes to gather in one place and wait for him, and so the Council of the Five Nations was created. The chiefs waited 3 days. At last, on the 4th day, the magic canoe came slipping across the lake. The chiefs and the wise men greeted Hiawatha warmly as a savior, but he told them, "What is past is past. The future is now in your hands. My time on Earth is over." Before he left forever, he told them, The real danger is that each nation thinks and acts in its own interests, ignoring the fate of the others. Yet the destruction of one nation will bring about the destruction of all five. The only way to defeat the savage foreigners is for everyone to sit around the same fire, smoke the same pipe, use the same tomahawk. Then he took some eagle feathers, gave them to the 5 chiefs, saying, "These will be your symbol."
I know what you mean. The story you tell is similar to the message of great hope that I will give you all tomorrow. This is a night I will never forget, Pabio.
I'll never forget it either, Pocahontas.